As 1 in 5 new mums develop some form of postnatal depression or anxiety. And now Scotland's former Finance Secretary has spoken about her experiences after giving birth to her daughter last year.
Kate Forbes said that by talking openly about her experience, she hopes to reduce stigma. She's also calling for more resources for midwives. Kirsten Campbell spoke to the MSP for Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch earlier.
It's just over a year since Kate Forbes and her husband Ali welcomed a baby girl. It was a difficult birth, and when she got home from hospital, she struggled.
So I couldn't sleep. I had extreme levels of terror and fear. I couldn't be alone in the house, and that was during the day, and then of course it was much worse at night. And it was just this huge anxiety and sense of guilt and sense of fear that something was going to happen to the baby. And it eventually got to a point where I realised everything is completely out of control and I need help.
And did you get the support that you needed?
The midwives in the Highlands are absolute legends amongst women. They are second to none. And as soon as they could see that there was something that wasn't right, they sprung into action.
I mean, this is a very personal topic, but you've been brave enough to go public about it. Why have you decided to do that?
I wanted to talk about it because I think there is a stigma attached, to say that I don't think it's a weakness to need to get help, and that there's no judgment on mothers who find that they need help.
Within a few months, she was through the worst and back at work, standing for the leadership of the SNP, campaigning to be First Minister of Scotland. It was a contest she didn't win. Now she's enjoying motherhood.
Is everything all right now?
It is, absolutely.
And Naomi's had her first birthday?
She's had her first birthday. She's a total mischief maker, lots of fun. She's now walking and just a delight to spend time with.
Postnatal depression affects 1 in 10 women within a year of giving birth. Kate Forbes hopes sharing her experience will lead to a better understanding of the challenges new mums can face. And she'd like midwives to have access to more specialist mental health training. Kirsten Campbell, BBC News, Holyrood.
Well, someone who's very aware of the importance of mental health support for new parents is Emma McDowall from the campaign organisation Parent and Infant Mental Health Scotland. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
How important is it that we heard that story today from Kate Forbes, that she was so brave and open about her experience?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we heard that story. There is still a lot of stigma around not just perinatal mental health issues, mental health generally, and then when you around, the image that people have of motherhood, that it's supposed to be this magical, perfect time, then it can be really scary and really debilitating for mums if that's not the experience that they have. So it's really important.
Yeah, we've just heard how common it can be, 1 in 10. So why is it still so hard to talk about, would you say? Is it just that we all expect to feel a certain way, to act a certain way, and it can be difficult to flag up if that's not how you're feeling?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it can, as I say, it can be difficult to flag up any kind of mental health concern, but particularly when you've got a brand new baby, that you can feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame for not immediately loving them or not immediately loving life with them. And you can have expected to have had your baby for 9 months or years and years and been looking forward to this. And so when it isn't what you expect, it can be pretty tough really to be open about that and honest.
How would you advise somebody then that would be feeling that way? What would you advise them to do?
I think the key thing really is to speak to the person that you trust. So whether that's your partner or a family member, or if you do feel comfortable to speak to your health visitor or your GP, then it's always good to make a start that way and keep fighting for it, because the journey of postnatal depression can be up and down, and sometimes there are like roadblocks in the way. So just keep on going until you are able to access some support.
Yeah, I know from my own experience that acknowledging it yourself can take time, and often it's a case of other people asking the right questions. So how would you advise those other people around a new mum on how to talk to them, on maybe what questions to ask and what to look out for?
Well, I think there are lots of websites that you can look at to find out about the signs and symptoms of postnatal depression. So I would start there, but make sure that you know what to look out for. But also, when you're speaking to them, be open, empathic, don't criticise or minimise their feelings. A lot of the time, even in my personal experience, people would say, oh no, but you're doing great, or oh, but your baby's fine, you know, and it doesn't help when you yourself are feeling horrendous. So it's just about being open and really listening carefully to what they're saying and accepting it.
Well, Emma, thank you so much for sharing that advice and coming on the 9 tonight. Great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.